Hello, everybody. I'm Dark Knight 316, and this is the Roundtable Podcast, episode 11. I'm here with Robert Wheeler Gaming. And what'd you bring for us today for the drink?
So I brought another Bang Any Means Orange.
Okay, and then you brought me this Celsius retro vibe.
It kind of looks like an old school, like something in Miami of Grand Theft Auto.
Hope it don't taste like a retro Miami Grand Theft Auto.
I don't have my mug, so I'm just drinking it straight out of here. But
Not too bad. All right, so news we have this week is we go on psnprofiles.com a lot to look up trophies, lists for upcoming games, and sometimes for like trophy guides and stuff like that if we need help. Well, I noticed the other day that they have a top 10 of the community that plays the game, so wanted to look at the top 10 this week and see what your thoughts are for the top 10 of should these games be the top 10 or should like one of them be replaced.
now, is there based off of any criteria of that it should be, or is it just my gaming opinion?
It's just be your opinion on it because this is what the community likes to play, and you may not like that game.
Okay.
So
Let's take a look.
number 10 is a rematch.
So rematch is that soccer
Is that
game
free soccer game that was free up on there, which is kind of like that one Rocket League. It's kind of like that.
It's kind of like that. Okay, that's fine. I mean, I got no problem with that.
So they have 1.2 thousand players that played it. So that's why it was not at number
good.
10.
And that's good, especially if you said it was a free game.
It was
so that's
a free
good
game,
to see like a free game like that doing pretty good. So all for that.
Number 9 is a game called Balatro.
Oh,
It's kind of like a
that one that almost
strategy.
won
It was kind of like a
Game of the
strategy card game battle up on there that you play kind of like poker-ish or whatever like that. That also had 1.2 thousand
That's
players.
fine.
And that was number 9.
No problem with that one.
What is weird for number 8 is Minecraft. Like that game's been out like a bajillion years.
That's where
That's 1.3 players.
That's where I would say that's probably boot that one. But is it also because Minecraft had the movie came out recently? So I don't know.
That could have been
been
the surge.
It come out, to be able to watch on Netflix
It's
or whatever.
like on demand or whatever. I think.
Yeah, so maybe that is, but still, I've never played Minecraft. Minecraft has never interested me to be able to play it. So I don't know if there's any iterations of like playing like a Dragon Quest Builder or something like that. If that would be interesting, but yeah, I'd boot Minecraft. And because I'm biased, I'd put someplace in there Uden Chronicles because that is your PlayStation Plus game. So
yeah, you'd probably put that one up on there.
I think so. That's where I'd put it.
What about putting the games that were not in the top 10, like Assassin's Creed Shadow, Dead by Daylight, FBC Firebreak, or King of Fighters 15?
No,
you wouldn't replace it with any of those?
No, but I think it's a pretty crazy seeing the games. I think it's pretty cool to see the taste of what the community has. Because for me, of course, it's like right now RPGs, but like you don't see in the top 10 a lot of you don't see like a lot of multiplayer games of games of like I'm thinking more of like a Call of Duty or something like that. Like there's multiplayer games in a sense of I think Rematch is multiplayer. So like in a sense like that, if there's Elden Ring, I don't know if Elden Ring's up there, but with like Elden Ring.
The Elden Ring is a multiplayer one.
Yeah, like so
you'll see, that night
you'll see
night
more
rain.
like that, but I don't like you don't. It's interesting to see kind of like the change of what the games are being played. So.
I mean, it usually the multiplayer ones will come out when it first, releases. Because, like, Marvel Rivals, for instance.
Yeah.
That was a free game. And
that Firebreak game.
Yeah, and that Firebreak game, that was up on the top when those came out. But then they, dropped. So the next one that's up on the top of the list for this would be number 7. Is an Xbox game, the Forza Horizon 5. Now, I played that game for Xbox and it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
It was the racing game and stuff like that. But PlayStation had Gran Turismo, so
Now I
Gran
haven't
Turismo was the game.
kept up with. Is this a free to play on PlayStation Plus?
No,
or is this buy it?
you have to buy it.
Okay,
Yeah, so it's not free.
I was reading an article someplace that they were saying that like Forza Horizon didn't sell well on PlayStation, and because it didn't sell well, like the Gran Turismo doesn't have a competition. But I'm all for. I love the car racing games and
The
stuff
car
like
sims
that.
and
Yeah,
stuff
I
like that,
love those games. I've always been good at them, but I mean I could get better. But I've always been good at them to be able to play. So, yeah, I mean I'm all for that game too.
Yeah, so you'll see the big jump because the Bellatro had, let's see, what was it? Yeah, so the Forza Horizon had 1.5 thousand players, and Minecraft had 1.3K, so it barely made it up there for Forza. And so then the next game, which was up there when it was number 1 when it was released, but now has dropped to number 6, is Elden Ring Night Rain. Now this is the same Elden Ring type game, but into the
This is like the
multiplayer.
boss battles one.
No, this
right?
is basically it's kind of like Monster Hunter and stuff like that. So you create your character, your class, and stuff like that, and then you go online with a bunch of people and you battle all the monsters.
That sounds pretty fun. I've never been good at the Souls games, so that's why the only reason why I've never tried them. I've just never been good at them, so
Yeah, so
I don't have the patience to like Neo. I struggled with a lot. I mean, yeah, I finished it, but it's a lot of like it takes a while. So for me, those games would get me frustrated that I wouldn't like playing them, even if they're a good game. So they're just hard for me. So I try not to like. I'm sure it's a great game, but I can't say anything like bad about it because I'm terrible at it. So it's like because I'm terrible, is a game bad?
yeah, I mean, 2.1K players were playing that one, and I heard a lot of people play this game, but they don't know how to dodge. So they're just doing it where it's basically they're hack and slashing and they're not allowed to dodge. So a lot of the like
Is it
amateur
like
players
a
are
challenge that they're doing that
well,
they can't dodge?
no, it's most of them bring a lot of potions and have to keep using up all the potions to go and survive. Because basically it's kind of like Monster Hunter, where you'll be like in a groove of slashing the monster up over there, and then he gets into attack, and by the time you try to do it, you can't dodge. Kind of like in Claire, like you have to time your dodging
Oh, okay.
correct like that. But
Yeah, that
but
would
the
have
community a
more
lot of times says that a lot of noobs who's never played like a Souls type game or Monster Hunter type game don't know how to dodge, so they just waste up all their potions
That'd be me. That'd
instead
be me.
of like helping out and doing it. The next game that's up there in the top 5, which surprised me because, well, actually maybe not because it's free this month, is Diablo 4. That has 2.9 players.
Oh, speaking of Diablo 4, I thought it was interesting because I've been wanting to go back to it, just play it for funsies. But I saw that this one guy figured out that there's this like one build that you could have infinite attack and just go and like clear the screen. But it was crazy though because it's like the character he's playing with, he's just teleporting to like the different enemies and being able to take them out. But the only thing I don't like about Diablo 4 is they need another class. I think now they need to release.
They have the one with the DLC.
Yeah, they have the one, but I think they need to release another one. They need to have like a monk. I think, in my opinion, monk is good, or they need to go back with the crusader. I think they need to bring those two and make it more because you got to think this game's going to push through for the next like console life cycle until the next Xbox or PlayStation or even if it comes to Nintendo. It's going to push because that's what 3 did. So
Yeah.
when 5 comes out for PS6, let's just say, it's got to push through another like 10 years. So I think they need another class. Like I think that's what would get me more like back in there to like consistently play it again, is if they had a class like the monk or a crusader, because then I would actually say, okay, I'm the barbarian right now. Let me stop playing with them and actually create a new class, go through seasons and play. Because I only did it for the trophies and I stopped playing because the game was so frustrating to me. Because it's hard for me when it's the same thing over and over and over again, and you're like, okay, my weapons are decent, I could get through, but then when you're not strong enough because you can't farm, then it's like I don't want to play it. But I also feel like this game isn't good with playing as a group, because I see a lot of like I try to play as a group with just random people and nobody ever wants to play as a group. So I feel like this one's more fun solo, but it gets boring quick solo. So I don't know. Diablo 3 I always played as a group and stuff. You and I were always playing, but you never you never liked 4, so
Yeah, the reasons I didn't really like 4 is, to me, it was slow. So it's like, one, like your progression, they made it too slow for your progression to get up, where you're not gonna really be OP. So you go into a section and like you'll kill a monster or whatever, where the monster will be like way too overpowered and there's nothing you can really do, and you get, you know, mobbed and get killed. Or it's like you move 2 feet, then there's a whole bunch of monsters there. You try to kill and you move a few more, it's like there. But you're barely gaining any
they fixed
XP
the progression later on. But like that was my thing too, was because this game was basically like you just had to beat the game, and then once you beat the game, then you had to do your build to get to the next tier, and then after you got to the tier, it was kind of like you couldn't really you could enjoy the game at your own pace, but it's like the way it was designed, if you wanted to get good, you had to basically hurry up and beat the game, hurry up and beat the certain part. And then when they didn't fix the progression bar, it was like how many hours you had to put in just to try to get to max level.
Yeah, and that's the thing I didn't like up on it. And then I also didn't like that they like nerf a lot of the stuff, because like I played as a what was it? I think the rogue, but I played it as
I don't remember,
as a bow user instead of the the dual wielding.
and everybody said the dual wielding's much better.
They made that class as more for the dual wielder than the arrows, the bow and arrow. And I rather just stand around, shoot the guy, and then jump back and like throw my traps and stuff like that. But never had the build there, so I'm like, I wasted like all these levels, and it wasn't intended for it. And so I'm like, why do I have to pay all this money to respec and then change it and then try to get up on the class there? So I thought that this one was more like boring
compared to 3.
Compared to 3, because 3 was fun, but this one was more boring, and I thought it was way slower, not just like in pacing wise, but I just thought that it was like slower game wise. So it'd be like, yeah, you get your horse and you can go to this place up over here, but then like the story just like lagged until you got to Lilith. And then once you got to Lilith, like I really didn't care too much anymore about the game, because I was like, it was already slow. It pretty much made it where it's like you wanted to beat the game and then jump right into multiplayer or play with a bunch of people and stuff like that, and it was just kind of like slow. And then when you try to go and play it up online, people don't want to play with you because they're like, oh, you're a low level, you're not at this tier. So then nobody really wants to go.
But it's like,
and do it.
We got jobs we can't put in,
or it's just like
days.
You were at this point up over here, so like, you know,
and
it should be a community
that's always
thing.
The way I looked at it too, was like, if somebody was like, oh, let's just farm this stuff, and I'm a higher level, I'm helping you farm. Like if you reached out to me to help, if you wanted to grind levels, like I'm willing to help you out to grind levels, because I'm not at a level 100 yet, and I want to hurry up and get to 100, and then I want to like, but you reach out to me because you wanted some help, like I should go back and be like, yeah, sure, because I mean, as you were saying, I was at that point, and this person, you know, maybe reaching out because they just need a little bit of boost to get to whatever they're looking for. Like, so I think things like that are what I think, like this, I think I mentioned this in my retirement video. Like, this is the whole reason why I retired from platinum hunting, was because of this game. But it's like even the community in this game, I felt like wasn't like I'd reach out and be like, "Hey, can you help on this?" And they'd just be like, "Get good," and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, like I don't know how much hours you can play, but I got a job. Like I can't.
I think it was more PC like oriented, because like when you try to go online and look at a build or see what's like good for it, they're like, I'm wasting like 50 billion damage, and you're like, okay, well let me try to do the build for it, and then you're not wasting it. And it's like
You keep
most of the time,
time.
like on the videos, they don't tell you like, well, I played this on PC.
And a lot of people, they're like, I use this thing, and you're like, they're like, this is the best, and you go there and you're like, I'm terrible at it. I actually found one with the barbarian where I just sat there, and it's just basically I'm like dual wielding and just attacking, and it helped me get through most of the in-game stuff that I'm trying to do right now. So, and it was like nobody really talked about that build because everybody's like, this is how you could one hit kill everything, and then you basically go there to try to one hit kill everything. You can't. And it's like, okay. Well,
and also like in this Diablo game, like I didn't care too much for the classes. The classes to me were not.
They weren't that good.
Like as good. Like in 3, like they had the monk, they had the crusader, they had the can't think of the other ones right now. But like I really liked, after playing all the characters, like I really liked the crusader, or like the what was it? I don't know if it was the monk or
the
witch doctor, whatever, but the one that you could throw, kind of like the little turrets kind of thing. Yeah, demon hunter. Like I liked that. So
you're always with those classes that you like the because you like the camp. So
well, not just that, but like I usually play a lot of these ones solo. So it was like if I could have it play it solo and have backup, then I don't really worry. Because like with the crusader, like with the crusader, like they had one where you can summon like your ghost crusaders that go and help you out. So I would always go throw that up before I go and do the attack, and then they all go. And
so those ones are a little complicated to me because in Diablo 4 they had is it the necromancer who was the one class, sorcerer or somebody like that, but it was like you can call your like your minions and then they could attack, but it was always confusing to me because it was like, okay, you call your minion, but then you hit this button to do this one with them, and then you hit this button. It was always confusing to me, so that's why I picked like barbarian, because it was simple for me.
Yeah.
But then of course, you know, for me it's like I always pick the class that everybody says is the worst class.
Well, I always like to be like the tanky type one, so then I don't have to do like you got to rely on somebody else, you know, to help up on there. Like,
and I think
unless like, you know, I'm doing the class specifically to be like, oh, I'm going to be the healer class, so then I'm only going to, you know, do that for when I play multiplayer.
And I think this one too, what they did was like the progression system I thought was lacking, because they made you, like I liked in 3 with the Paragon board, and you can just go and be like, oh, build up HP, build up strength, and then work towards doing that. And this one was more like, oh, you got to fill this board and figure out which way you want to turn it, and then be able to build up and go a certain path. And like I felt like that was, and then you know, like you didn't like what you did or whatever, and you don't know what each node is basically.
Yeah,
you have to guess.
You got to figure out like, do I want to waste it on building on my strength or getting this ability?
And it doesn't work. You respec it, and then you have to spend all your resources again to do it. So I felt like this one was. I felt like they designed it. They wanted you playing thousands of hours into the game, but casuals like me who
buy the
season
currencies and stuff like that, so you can get the upgrade. Because like when they redid this one with the new Paragon system, where now it's like infinite boards basically, and you can get up to high up on there, which like it's fine, but to me they still never fixed the slow nature of the game. Like I kind of thought it was cool where they had some of the zones where it's PvP like that, and you had to go and like, you know, kill each other and stuff like that for it. But like, I don't know, like to me this game was too slow paced that once I got to like Lilith, I pretty much just, I'm done with the game. Like I really don't care.
Well, too much, you know, I might jump back in there to try to build up a little bit and then I can help you complete the rest of the trophies.
Because like to
I
me,
might just do that.
Like, yeah, I mean, I may have to respect to play my rogue with the dual wielding.
My favorite I like about Diablo is the hardcore mode. Like that's always my favorite, but it's always too where it's like, you know, I mess something up, because it's like their servers are glitchy or something. But
Yeah.
hardcore mode's always been my favorite.
That's the one thing I thought that was unfair. I don't know if they fixed it or not,
I
but
think they probably
the
did.
servers kicked you out, that counted as a death,
Yeah.
and your character died. And I'm like, how is that fair? It's not my problem that your area sucks with the internet and that you don't have a dedicated server, or you don't have that, or you're doing maintenance right at the time that I'm running my hardcore character. Like that kind of stuff there, they need to think about that when they create those games. But number 4 on the list is this game called Jusant or Josant.
I've never played that.
Jusant.
I kept calling it Juicing.
Yeah, Jusant or whatever.
Yeah,
That
I don't
had
know.
3K players up on that
I don't
one.
even know what it is.
I think that game might have been a free game as well. This is only up there because that was, I believe, on the Plus membership as well.
Yeah, that one is up there as well. Let's see,
So-
Juicant.
Yeah, I never heard of this game. Never even
Yeah, I've never
played the
heard
game.
of it.
So I couldn't tell you what it's about, what it looks like. You have it up here. Oh, it's from Don't Nod. Isn't that the people that?
Aren't they the ones who created Life is Strange?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Aren't they the ones that did Life is Strange?
I want to say so. It's a climbing game. Yeah, I don't know. We'll go to the next one. Doesn't I'd have to like.
It kind of looks like Life is Strange kind of thing, and like Journey mixed together is what I'm looking at. Some of the pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess it could be interesting if you kind of like those, like free roam puzzle type games and stuff like that. But what does it say?
It's a puzzle platform game developed by Don't Nod. Let's see.
Isn't Don't Nod the one that?
Yeah, it developed Life is Strange.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So the next game, the reason why this is number 3 is because their number 2 has already came out, but this is Death Stranding Director's Cut.
Now I'm gonna
This has 3.1 players.
I'm gonna have an unpopular opinion here. I've never played Death Stranding.
I never played Death Stranding either.
Downloaded it because the second one came out, and then I've been hearing good things about it because I thought the concept at first was kind of like, this is boring. I'm gonna go deliver stuff.
Yeah, I thought you were like a mailman type thing delivering it.
so I
I'm
was
like, how fun is that?
I'm never playing this because it looks dumb, but it has, it came out on the, so I downloaded the PS4 version because I don't want to pay that, because if I pay the $40 or whatever it is, and I don't like it, I spend $40. So I downloaded it. I'm waiting to play it, and if it's good, then I'm gonna buy. I'll spend the $60 to buy Death Stranding 2. So I'm curious to know what it's like, and I've been doing reviews, looking into the Death Stranding, and the second one looks pretty good actually. I would be curious to be able to play it, but I want to play the first one because they obviously made a sequel if the first one was really that good. So I want to try it. I want to see if it's any good. And hopefully I like it. Hopefully it's a game that I'm like, it changed my expectation, my view on what I thought the game would be like, because I looked at the game and was like I said, oh, I'm just delivering stuff, and I'm building this node to connect to this side. Well, it's dumb. I'm gonna spend 100 hours in that game just to finish that.
That's why I thought it was like a delivery service, but
I don't know. We'll see.
From seeing some of the screenshots and stuff like that, like it's a completely different game. It's kind of like Metal Gear Solid, but with you having to deliver packages and deliver certain things to across the world. So when you go there, you're interacting with other players, or not players, but like the enemies in the story.
But there are some online components. The hard part for me though is putting down, because I'm going through some RPGs right now. So that's my hardest, I think, trying to get, because I'm going through Uden Chronicles. So it's going to be hard to put down a Uden Chronicles, because if I don't get through Uden Chronicles, I'm not finishing it up. So I don't know if I should finish a Uden Chronicles, take a break from RPGs, play Death Stranding, because I still got my platinum Grand Slam I'm trying to go through, and I don't think I'm going to get through it this year, but I go through something like that, and I'm also close to 900 platinum, so maybe that might be on my list of as I journey to get to 900. 900 is going to be Tactics Ogre, so if you guys are following along.
Well, number 2, which should just be number 1 because this is, in my opinion, is better game.
It makes sense, though.
But this one's like, since I've been tracking it, this has always been in the top 3 since it came out. So this right here tells you that this game, from the community at least, like, people still love this game. People still play this game up on there. And I'll pause for a little bit for you guys in the comments to try to guess what it is. What's number 2? It's an RPG. It's really popular. And it kind of changed the genre now because everybody else wants things.
I'm going to take a crack at it. I think it's Final Fantasy.
Oh, yeah. Final Fantasy. So? Yeah, it could be Final Fantasy 16.
I think so, because remember 16 just came out with all the...
for Xbox and stuff, yeah.
So.
Nope.
Oh.
Number 2 and on this top 10 list is Claire Obscura Expedition 33. Now, this game had 3.2 K players.
This is the worst game ever.
This game should be number 1. I mean, I'm surprised that it's still in the top 5.
But it makes sense, a reason why it's like starting to drop in player base, because people bought it when it came out, heard really good things about it, then they bought it, played it, and like they've gone through it. So it's like you should see kind of a whole, drop in player base as newer games start to come out, because this game, everybody's already gone through it. Now what needs to happen though is soon Expedition 33 needs to have a DLC come out, and then
it'll go back up.
They need to bring like a DLC of not like a character stuff where it's
like cosmetic or anything.
No, I think they need to bring out a DLC where it's like you could do like a no death run or something like that. So I can go New Game Plus now that I beat it, and then play through it again, or like make it a little bit challenging where it's like, oh, play it on hard but no death on hard,
or maybe do like add a new optional boss or something.
And see, and this was the interesting thing about this game, was because it's like, for you, when I recommend a game, you're kind of like but then you saw this and was like, it was actually really good, and we actually bought it and played it like at the same time, and journeyed our playthrough for this. Like,
which you could watch our earlier episodes, like 1 through 4, where we tell us like where we left off at the game and what our thoughts about this game was, because I wasn't, like, when I first was hearing about this game and stuff, like, I didn't think it was going to be that great. I thought it was just going to be like, oh, it's an okay game, whatever, like that. And then when I played it, like, I really enjoyed it. This game should be number 1 everywhere. And I think it should get Game of the Year in every category and stuff like that. Like, it should beat out.
The music is great. The gameplay is great. And see, here's the thing, though. Like, I'm a big fan of Final Fantasy. And to be able to say, like, you can have an unbiased opinion on a game like this and say, oh, this game was fantastic.
Yeah. This game was way better than any of the Final Fantasies I played.
Within the last
including
10
like
years.
Rebirth and Remake and all that stuff.
I would say within the last 10 years, maybe.
Even better than 16, even though I know 16's different because it's not a turn-based game.
16's one of my favorites, but it's still, I still think, like, you got to give credit where credit's due, and this game is actually really good. So if you haven't played this game, buy it. I mean, I know it's hard right now if you want a physical copy as a collector, it's hard to get it. So if you have to buy the digital, I'd say buy the digital.
I know that they're bringing out their collector's edition. I think it's September or October.
Yeah, but it's still
up on there.
It's
so
still hard.
You may be able to find some physical copies when that comes out on that time.
They were doing this one like special edition I wanted to get, but I didn't want to pay $50 in shipping, so I ended up not getting it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to. If they weren't gonna do the shipping, I would have got it.
But yeah, this game's really, really good.
It's really good. Like, everybody should play.
And that's also, like, I think is gonna be hard for them, because now this is their expectation. They have to make a different game, but it's gonna be always compared to this, because the way that the game goes, like, really, the only thing I could see if they continue the Claire Expedition type thing is having to do a prequel, because they can't really make a sequel to it because of the way that it ends.
And I think it would have...
They could, but I don't think story-wise would make any sense on why they would do it.
They would have to focus more on Verso's family, I think, if they were to change it, because you can kind of see how Mael connects with Verso's family and kind of make something like that. To be
Yeah,
able
it would
to,
have to be Expedition like 0 or Expedition 1 or like
It
that.
couldn't even see, and that's the thing. Still the same thing too. Like, why is it called Claire Obscure?
Yeah.
Like, I don't. So Expedition 33 was the expedition they went on based off your age, to try to stop that. But so can they call it Claire Obscure and then whatever else after that? Because I don't know what the Claire, like even finishing up the game, I don't know why it was called Claire Obscure. They never gave anything, at least from what I could find, of a reason why it's called Claire Obscure. So I think they could call it like Claire Obscure, Verso's Journey, or that's something stupid I'd come up with.
Expedition 0, Expedition 1.
Like whatever expedition he was on, be able to. I think that's the only way that they could actually make like another game from that, because even if they make a whole brand new game, I think it's gonna be hard to kind of keep up with that. So
I mean, maybe they could have it where you play as that optional boss, the optional
Simon.
bad guy, Simon, up on there, because he had an important role for the game, and then they can have that, or you play as
But that's where my thing is because too, like if you kept the same battle mechanics, everything like that, will people go, oh, it's the same thing as the last game, why am I buying this game? Because it's the same.
And that's the thing with their downfall, is because their success on how popular this game is, because they saw that there's not really any turn-based games that are that popular that also could do what they did
good
there,
music and things like that.
And so now, like, their next game is going to be their hardest game to make.
I think
because
sequel's going to be tough.
Yeah, because like if they make a sequel, or if they make another different RPG that's completely different from Expedition but it has the same mechanic, it's always going to be compared to that one.
Tough, yeah.
And
I
so,
think so.
yeah, so they may not have another success how they have with this Expedition one, which
they've got to do it right, I think. And I think this would be the team to actually be able to do it right, but they've got to do it right, because it's going to be tough to say, like, especially if we're going to expand, like, somebody's story in there that maybe wasn't a fan favorite, or that's where I think that they would need to focus on Verso's family, because that was the whole game on Verso's family. So like kind of doing the backstory there, figuring out like what happened and stuff like that. Why his, am I able to spoil it? Like,
I mean,
why his
the
mother
games
was a paintress.
The game came out a long time.
So things like that, and how Mael fits in. So I think if they did more of like a prequel that way, I think it would work. Same battle mechanics, music,
or maybe just keep it with Gustav.
Well, see, that's
because
the thing.
I mean,
Gustav didn't have much of like the his character really wasn't around long enough to be able to do, because the game wasn't about Gustav, it was more about Mael and Verso.
Well,
but they built the story.
I have a theory on why that is. Is because the
voice actor,
because it was the Charlie Cox, the one that plays Daredevil. So I think that they only had him for a little bit, so they could only do so much. Plus, having an actor like that, they have to pay so much money for it. So I don't think that they wanted to blow their whole budget on this game by
you got to
paying it. So that's why that they
could be like, this game isn't going anywhere. It's new, blah 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 blah, and then like. And then he's probably like kicking himself, like, man, I should ask for more money because the game.
Yeah. And
so records.
So number 1 this week, which should be no surprise to anybody,
Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, is Death Stranding 2 on the beach.
That makes sense.
It's a weird title to call it like on the beach, but I guess it has to do with the story.
Because he has his kid on the beach.
No, is it, or is it because he's taking a vacation this time because he did all the stuff for the first one? So he's like, I'm going to relax now on the beach, and then stuff happens, and it ruined his beach, and now he's like,
that's probably what it is.
It ruined my beach, and now I have to take over.
Now they're coming after him, and he has to go in.
And so he's protecting his beach because it's there. But I mean, from all I saw there, like the story's really crazy, and that's Kojima for you, because Kojima likes to make like these weird stories up on it. I mean, Metal Gear Solid 4, like how good of a game that one was and is. Towards the end of it, it was so like crazy that and also funny though too, because when you fought like Liquid Snake and stuff like that and Big Boss, you're fighting on I believe a ship or a submarine. I can't remember, it's been so long since I played it. But you're fighting as two old guys fighting, and then as you're like beating up, then it goes to like Metal Gear Solid 3, and then you're kind of like fighting like your Metal Gear Solid 3, then it goes to 2, and then it goes back to 1, and you're like really like all super
the only
young
thing
and stuff like that.
I did not like with what Kojima did was where, and I mean, this is what same thing a lot of people do though, is like how 3 is the number 1 in the series and stuff like that. It's like, why couldn't that just be number 1? Why couldn't you, what you came up with? It's because you came up with a good game, and then it's kind of like, well, I need to flesh out this backstory. So this one is, and so when you started jumping to different points, that's where I think it's starting to get
because then it makes it where it's like hard to figure out with the timeline and stuff. And they do that with a lot.
That's what I'm saying. They do that with like a lot of RPGs.
Well, not just that, but they do that a lot with like movies and shows too, because it's like if like for instance like for Marvel, if you were to watch like the Avengers now, a lot of stuff is like the previous movies and stuff like that like has ties to it. So it's like, oh, well, I can't just watch this one. I have to go watch Iron Man, and I gotta watch this one, so that, and then I gotta watch Avengers 1, so I know these characters and stuff like that. So,
but overall, he's the great creator, so I think that's awesome for him to be able to do. I'm glad to see that he stuck around with Sony and stuff like that. They were able to, you know, he couldn't do anything with Metal Gear too much, but being able to work some deals out with Sony. So,
but also it's good for him that he gave up Metal Gear Solid, because you know, you work for that company for so long, you would think that like you could take that with you and stuff like that. And with him being like created Metal Gear Solid, like creating another game that actually become popular, because just because you're the creator of this game, when you leave and go to like, you know, start your own company, doesn't mean that you're gonna say you'll still have the same success.
And, you're not going to be as popular as you might not be.
I mean, you'll be popular because people will follow you and stuff like that, but doesn't mean that, you know, I mean, if you really look at it like the what's that, situation bias kind of stuff like that, it's like, is this game really that good, or is it because you like Kojima so much, like you're going to say this game is good? And so that's why you can't always guarantee success when you leave. Like these people here with Claire Expedition, like they were former Ubisoft you know, employees and stuff like that, and they were frustrated the way that Ubisoft was going, so they created their own. So like for them, that's no guarantee that their game was going to be popular up on. They just was like, we want to try this way, we want to do it this way. So it's kind of like the same with Kojima, is because he was always known for Metal Gear. So when he left his company, he's like, oh, I've created this game called Death Stranding. People were like,
yeah, good luck with that.
Like, I don't know if that's going to be as good as Metal Gear Solid, and then obviously it is, because they made a sequel to Death Stranding. So
it's been pretty good.
So the next story that we're talking about is one that you thought about that I totally forgot about it, and I didn't really think about it. And
it might be a future video. I haven't had time because of this week.
Work and stuff like that. Yeah, but it's a feature video you came up with, and what it is it's what happened to the greatest hits titles. And when you were talking about it, I thought that, you know, I didn't think anything of it because I'm so used to them having the greatest hits titles that I was like, they have to have it here. And then we looked it up and they don't. So
they don't.
If for people who don't know what the greatest hits title is when a game hits a certain milestone that Sony thinks, you know, oh, this is a record for this game, they re-release the game at a cheaper price and has, in the earlier days, would have a green label that says greatest hits up on there. And then it's like, you know, like let's say like 10 games or whatever makes the greatest hits titles up on there. And for every generation of the PlayStation, they've had greatest hits. But PS5 has been out now for 5 years, and there's no greatest hits title. So I don't know if they're stopping this now with 5, or they're going to wait till PS6 comes out and then come out with it. Or maybe they don't have enough good games that sold a certain milestone to consider greatest hits up on them, because PS2 had greatest hits.
I don't know.
PS3 had greatest hits up on there, and PlayStation 4 had greatest hits, and that was what the red label up on there. And PS2 was red label as well, I believe.
No, wasn't it Gosh, I don't remember. No, was it? I think it was red as well.
Yeah,
but
I
wasn't
think
it
they
red?
started a red and black
Because the red
like that.
cases were PS3.
Yes.
And then it was the blue and red for
Yes.
PS4. So I believe it was red label for. It was the
red
label
label
black,
up on it that had the black that said the
black
greatest
cases.
hits. Yeah. And so PS5, we're thinking about it, and we're like, why don't they have greatest hits? I mean, if the criteria was like, let's say like 1 million copies or whatever, I mean, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I can think 3 or 4 games off the top of my head.
Like I said, Ratchet and Clank, I'm pretty sure sold that.
Yeah, Rift Apart.
And then
Spider-Man
2.
You think? I think Astrobot.
Do you think Spider-Man 2 sold it, or do you think the Miles Morales one sold it?
When I looked it up, I think they said like Spider-Man 2 sold over 10 million.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, that
I would
should
at least
be.
think 4.
I would think that would be a greatest hit.
Yeah, so I would say with those two, Astrobot.
Yeah.
Astrobot
like
sold
blew
over
up
1 million.
a bunch.
And I would say Demon Souls as well. So if you just took those 4 games and made them greatest hits, why wouldn't those be great? They hit over 1 million.
Yeah.
They've, and then you got your like your soccers, your things like that. Like, okay, so those, let's say, fall under the category. But I was thinking of 2 main reasons why. I think one is because this is the era of more digital, so they don't want to push. Physical copies for you to be able to say, oh, because remember the whole plan was when you had a game like Horizon, for instance, that sold. Okay, now I'll sell it at $20, and I'll get more people who were on the fence of trying to get it. Now it's cheaper.
Yeah, and it would come out with all the DLCs.
Come out with everything you need. So I think because it's more of like the digital age, they don't want to push that. And I think too is because they can still sell those games at full price. Like I just recently saw for one of the deals, that Ratchet and Clank was $30, and I was still kind of like, that's still expensive for a game that's been out for almost 5 years.
Yeah,
but they can still sell it at a price.
But also, they could maybe change the price minimum for these greatest hits, because I believe for a while there, PS4 one was $30 was their greatest hits.
I don't remember
up on there,
I think it was $29.99.
Yeah,
I think it was.
Because I believe like in the earlier days it was like $9.99 or $19.99 or whatever like that, and then I think they went up. So they could sell this one like their greatest hits at this time at $39.99 if they wanted to go do it, and then that'll be the standard of it, which is weird because like I understand like how you're saying for the digital games up on there, but and they're pushing more towards digital, but you would still think
physical games,
that you would do the greatest hits one out even with digital and do it.
I don't think so,
have the
because
greatest hits time.
like we were talking about last week, if PlayStation can sell you the game at 60 and you're still buying it at 60, they're not going to push a greatest hits because you're still buying it at 60. So I could see them, like, I wish that they would do like a digital kind of like a greatest, if they don't want to push physical, like a digital greatest hits. Because you think Final Fantasy 6 is up there for over 1 million, or 16, sorry, it's up there for over 1 million. Rebirth is up there for over 1 million. So if you just had these as like your million criteria, these games would get greatest hits and price drops. But you don't see like too much of these games a price drop. And I think more of it also too is because they're pushing subscription model. So it's basically cheaper to say I'll spend $200 to go and get like your subscription, where I could play Ratchet and Clank and Demon Souls versus actually discounting it. So I think it's just because I don't even see what Xbox doing it either, and Nintendo doesn't have. Remember, Nintendo started out
Xbox used to have the platinum hits, and that was their like greatest hits type ones up on that. Nintendo's always the one that really didn't really.
Nintendo had it. They had like a small.
Yeah, they had Player's Choice, which was their greatest hits type.
But I don't.
Ones up on there, but they don't do that anymore. I think it's
more because everybody's pushing more of a digital age.
I mean, maybe they should do like a greatest hits section that they put the games in there, and then it's all like digital only, but they're the greatest hits.
Because you got to think too, like for instance, like Spider-Man is a game, let's say a 20-hour platinum, 20, let's just say 30-hour platinum. I spent $70 on the game. I already beat it. Or maybe that DLC going through to beat the game again, and then that's it. I'm done. Like, so I spent $70 to play your game for 30 hours, and I'm done with it. And then there's nothing else to really go through because, like, what am I going to do through that game again? I've already beat it. So I think with games like that, it's like that game should be discounted to try to get more people who are like I'm waiting for a sale. Well, now here's your chance to get.
Well, like look
more.
at like Clear Expedition. Like that didn't come out as a full retail game because they were like, let's do this cheaper to get people interested in our game.
Really
and
well.
so they priced it at the $50 price point up on there, and that's why it sold a lot up on it. And same with like Helldivers 2. When that came out, that was $40. So people were like, oh, I'll try this game out there because it's $40. I'm not paying, you know, 60, 70 bucks for it. So if this game bombed, like I only paid $30. I didn't pay the full price for it. And Helldivers 2 blew up and became popular, and it's still, you know, popular today, playing up on there. So I think because like, yes, making games is expensive because with all the software that you need to go make the games, but I also don't think that you should price the game like outrageously price up on it, especially
if it's digital.
Yeah, especially if it's digital. Like you're recouping all this stuff up on there, but like because I think for example, like these big AAA games have like, you know, 3, 4, 5,000, you know, plus people, employees making this game, but it takes like 10, 15 years for your game to come out, like up on it, like, and then you're still charging the full price for it. Like, why should you charge full price? You took this many years to come out with it. You should then, you know, reduce the price.
Think about this. I was reading something about there might be like a Fallout remaster, like a Fallout 3. So they said that this concept of them trying to come through it has been going on since 2018.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me in 7 years you haven't released like screenshots, anything? You've just been kind of thinking it up, and then after 7 years you're going to charge me
because you want people to be like, oh yeah, I'm interested in it. Okay, let's go make the game.
I think what they need to do is like with the digital, because you got to think, you put your game on digital, there's a price for you to do it, and then Sony takes, so let's just say it's 25%. I don't know what the total is. So out of $60, you know, they're taking what? Let's say $15. So they're going to take $15 off of every game. You're making 45. So you're pricing it in a sense of every time you're doing a digital game I'm just doing it for $60. Every time I buy a digital, somebody buys it from my company, you're making $45 off of every game. Whereas you got to think, when you bought it physically, maybe it cost you $3 to make the disc, and then you sell it through like Walmart, who's going to buy it for $35. Now you made less money because they're going to buy it for $35, sell it at $70.
And also, it's like with Sony. I mean, when you physically take the game, let's say they take the 20% up on it, and you price the game at the market at like $60, but then you sell it at like, you know, Target or whatever for like $30, let's say. You're still making that $30 margin up on there, and at that $60 one, like Sony's already taken out their money before you even sold it to the retail. So you're still making the money, but a lot of times it could be like greed because they want to be like, well, let me put this up at 90. But to me, it's like, okay, you're taking all these years up out there. If it's not like a banger, then it shouldn't be worth it. Like with Grand Theft Auto 6 that's coming out, like it's been in development probably over 10 years. So now, like, if this game is not the best looking, the best whatever game in whatever that's came out, like you've had all these times to go do it, and like, since it took 10 years, you probably spent like over millions of dollars paying your employees and, you know, the software and all that stuff like that. But like, that's your guys' choice. Like, you shouldn't be putting it on the consumer because you're taking 10 years to come out with the game. Like, same with Final Fantasy Remake. Like, it was back in like at E3, they just showed off a trailer and everybody was excited for it, and then it went dark for the whole entire time. So when this game came out and they're charging you $60 for it, like, you're the one who decided to take all this time up on it and paying all these people that they came and left and went with the company and stuff like that. Like, that's your fault. That's not, shouldn't be the consumer's fault up on it. You should still be able to make that game, or if the game got canceled or whatever like that, like, that's your guys' fault for doing the development. It shouldn't be put up onto the consumer, but it always is, and it always goes for expense. And then what if you bring out this $60 game and the game sucks, like because
the new Dragon Age.
Like the Dragon, like the game sucks, and you spent all this time up on there, had all this hype for this game, and the game sucks really bad. And like it sucks either by like it needed to be redeveloped because like the graphics and stuff like that's not that great, or the story sucked, or even with like it's so buggy or whatever like that. It's like you had all this time to go test it, to do up all this stuff like that, and if you didn't think it was good, then just cancel the game, like, you know, and just tell the people like, yeah, we went experienced up on. Don't do it like, oh, we're gonna just rush this game up over here, bring out there, and then do $60 and then cross our fingers, hope that it's gonna, you know, be a hit up on there, and then it ends up not, and then you have to fire all the people that up on there, like, because of that. Like, I find that that's ridiculous of they're trying to make games like movies, where they're expecting like billions of dollars of budget up on here, and then they're expecting, oh, well, I'm gonna sell 5 times up on it. And you could see that just like in the movie industry, like, you may spend all this money up on there, but you're not guaranteed a hit anymore, because a lot of times, like, you're just remaking movies or whatever, or you're coming up where you're changing a bunch of the stuff where people are like, this isn't what I remembered for it, and you're just trying to tell me, you know, that this is good. And same with like video games. It's like there's really not a lot of games companies that are taking risks of coming out with new IPs. They're just, oh, well, let's go back to here, remaster this.
That's why Expedition 32
put a little like, you know, flavor up on it, and then sell it for the full price up on it.
Put a coat of paint.
Yeah, put a coat of paint. Not really go and try to like remake the whole entire thing or anything. That's why, like with Claire Expedition, like you said, like this was a game that they're like, we're not going to charge full price for it. We're going to charge it at a discounted price up on it. We have faith in this game that it's going to be good. We spent X amount of dollars to do up all this thing as a small company, and the game was really a big hit.
Yep.
And
so why isn't this game a greatest hits now?
Like, this game should be a greatest hits up on there, because that sold way.
And especially if you raise your criteria of like 2 or 3 million, like this game's hit the benchmark.
Yeah.
So why isn't it a greatest hits? What? That's where I think it's a whole new business model, just because it's like these days they can sell for whatever and be able to. You're still going to pay the price because you're a fan of whatever game. Like a lot of people just pay the $60.
It's starting to get to the movie industries too, because a lot of the movies that are coming out now, like, people were fans before,
and now they're just,
but then now they're just checking out on it because they're like, this movie sucks. Like, why do I want to spend my money on this game if they keep coming out with, or movie, if they keep coming out with the movies that suck? And that's how now it's translating to games now, where these companies like Sony's AAA companies, and even Microsoft ones, where they're like, oh yeah, we spent 20 years making this game, and then we brought it out, and then the game sucks. And it's like, people will just buy because of the name or the title of the game. But if you actually play the game, you're like, yeah, this game sucks. Like, they spent 10 years trying to do it. Like, Remake was good and brought, but I don't think it was like the best. Like, it was worth the 10 plus years that it took to go make the game, because I'm like, yeah, you may have went through 3 or 4 different engines to try to decide on what you want, but like, yeah, the game's okay. It wasn't like, oh yeah, this is, you know, yeah, this was worth the 10, you know, year wait up on it. And so, like, even with like the rumored Final Fantasy 9 up on there for the remake, like, if that game ever does come out, which probably will come out, like, you spent all this time making this game up on it. So now, if like that game is only going to be popular because of the name, but that game could suck. That game could be where the original is way better, and this remake isn't as good because maybe they changed like the story up or whatever. Like, same with like Remake.
I'm hoping they keep those where you gain the ability points for all that. I like that system.
Yeah, because like if you take like Remake, for example, Final Fantasy VII Remake, like, they changed the story. So it's not the original OG story that was on the PlayStation back in like 97 or 98 or whatever when that game came out. They're changing the story up on there. So it's like, you spent, you know, like 10 plus years making this game just to change the story, but then you're trying to just be like, oh no, it's the OG story, but it's not the OG story. And then how you're making it, you got to stick with the episodic one because you said to everybody, yeah, this is going to be like 4 games or whatever. It's going to be all episodic, and we can bring it out. That's better because we can bring it out quicker. But it doesn't show that they're able to bring it out quicker because, like, look how long it's taken them to make the third one, which is supposed to be the final one. Like, look how long it's taken them to do it.
If they were to make, if they're saying that they did no DLCs so they can release the final game quicker, then it took them 4 years to make Rebirth. So now are you telling me that it was 1 year? So if you're going to release in 2027, that's much quicker for you? That it only took you an extra, like it took you 3 years because you didn't do DLC? Like that, to me, quicker would seem like you did it in 2 years.
Yeah.
Because you already have the script done. So if you already have the script done,
And you got the motion cap and all that.
And you got the motion cap, so why can't you release it next year?
Why don't you release it up on there?
So,
like, yeah.
That's my gripe.
Yeah.
But,
so that's why I'm like, you know, the having physical should always be the thing, but Nintendo is destroying physical games because with their whole game card thing, and you don't really actually have it. And the only reason why they made this game card is so that then they have some type of physical version so you can buy it at the stores so that retailers can sell games. Like, I think that that's messed up. I think that that's a bad business model for anybody because, like, if you figure the whole preservation of old media where they're trying to preserve these ones that are that 10, 20 years from now, you could still play it and it can still work.
You're not going to be able to.
You're not going to be able to because the physical copy is going to be requires that you have to have an internet and be able to go download it just to have the digital copy. Like that stuff there, like there's no conservation up on it. And I think that they're trying to not do that because they don't want conservation. Like, I think these retailers, like, or not retail, but these companies, I think they're not like the player base because a lot of the player base, they grew up on the old school games and they want all the old school games and be able to play the old school games. So if you bring it out digitally, then you're preserving the game up on there still. But even with the digital one, it's like, you know, you're gonna have to redo code for the next one to keep it alive. Like, how is that, you know, gonna work? That's why physical media is always the best. And as long as, you know, there's a way that you could still play that physical media and not, you know, ruin it or anything like that, like they could do it. So I think that they should rethink about not doing digital anymore and do it where they keep the retail because, like, your game's not going to be played. I mean, that's probably the plan because they don't want you to be, they want you to go for the new stuff. They don't want to do the old stuff anymore up on this so that then they can be like Nintendo where they're like, oh, we got the Nintendo store. We have Mario. Oh, okay, I'll buy Mario. The next system comes out. Oh, look, we have Mario here. Go play. And you buy Mario like 5 times on the different consoles just so you can play the original Mario again up on there. So I think that that's what their plan is. But I think that physical media should always be top priority to preserve the life of your game or life of your company, because when they're remaking a lot of the games, like for Final Fantasy Tactics remake that's coming out, for instance, they claim that they lost the code for the original Final Fantasy Tactics. So if they lost the code up on it, if you would have put that code onto physical media and think about this like now, then you wouldn't have to worry about it like years later if you're gonna go make it, because back in the day, like once they made that game, they pretty much deleted a lot of their stuff, and some of them only kept the stuff. That's why they lost the code and they had to figure out how to remake these
but you
codes
think
for
the
it to
coding
work.
with the advance in coding, like they could pick it up and make it much better. Like somebody should have been able to basically like run that disk and go, oh, here's your code. Boom.
Yeah.
But I don't think they didn't want to spend the time of getting somebody to like actually improve the code or anything like that. So
yeah. Well, that's all the stories that we have this week for it. So just remember that I'm Dark Knight 360 and this is the Roundtable podcast. I also have other channels as well. Like I have a drinking and food channel. I also have a loot box channel. And then Robert Wheeler Gaming here, he has his roundups that he does up on there. He has
New
his journey
channel.
to
Platinum retirement.
and he has his news channel up on there. So please like and subscribe to all those channels there, because we want to try to grow our channels there so we can have more interactions with the community.
Want to do some live streaming and things like that
Yeah.
too. So, you know, be able to bring on more guests for podcasts
Yeah.
and different things like that. So, you know, definitely check it out, subscribe, and
So
that's the show.
Thanks for spending the time
Thank you guys.
watching this video up on there. And then always remember, never stop gaming.
Keep gaming, guys. God bless you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.